everyone. This is the Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. Here with good old Reverend Orno. If you are watching this, you are the Resistance. And this is what? The Round Table. In fact, I am going to go ahead and enable comments now. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Round Table where you, the audience, get to engage in the conversation. That's why it's a round table. Because anybody and everybody can join in the conversation. And it is brought to you by the great and powerful that's Monster Blue. The fictitious product that doesn't actually exist and is now again on my fucking floor. Because I throw it too damn hard. But I say it doesn't exist because we are not actually sponsored by anybody. We are very much crowdfunded. So if you like this broadcast, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons on all of our social media, YouTube, Rumble, X. Follow us on all that. Hit that notification bell on YouTube to fuck up YouTube's algorithm so that you make sure to know anytime we go live. And as always, feel free to join in the conversation. This is as much about you as it is about us. And as always, be sure to check out our online store. The link to that is in the description of this video. Get all our nice TWWRM merch, the Flower of Life shirt, No Strings Protest, the Charlie Kirk merchandise that we had custom made that says, "The truth is louder than bullets." And keep a lookout for when we open the new online store. And rest assured that if you put in an order on the current store, that you will still get your order. We will make sure that all orders are done and processed before we shut down the old store. But moving on to that, moving on to the topic at hand. Are the black-eyed children the Men in Black? Now, Revan, you came up with this idea for this roundtable. Why don't you go ahead and explain what the black-eyed children are? Because most people have a general idea from the movies what the Men in Black are and the conspiracy theories surrounding the legend that inspired the films. But not too many people know what the black-eyed children are. In fact, when I first heard it, I thought the first thing that popped into my head was Village of the Damned with those albino kids. But that's not at all the case. Go ahead and explain to the audience what the black-eyed children are, and then segue into how they correlate with the Men in Black.
There's been many stories on the black-eyed children has been a cornerstone of some mythology in a way. Now, there's been stories of people that witnessed being face to face with the black-eyed children.
Okay, what were the details of those encounters?
There's a story of there's a case of one guy. He was leaving the bank, and it was about 8:00 at night, and he just got in his car and he's in his car, going through his paperwork, all stuff, and heard a knock on the window. There was 2 or 3 black-eyed kids.
2 or 3?
About 2 or 3 dressed in street clothes. And had solid, cold black eyes, and had that very sinister.
So it wasn't their pupils and whatnot that were just black.
Their eyes were all black. Like
there was no white, there was no color, nothing, just complete black eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they asked him for a ride. Asked him because they said, "Sir, can you take us home to go get all let me stop here. Sometimes when the story goes that part of the story here is that they'll come up with some kind of thing like we're heading to the movies, but we forgot our money. Any chance you can take us home so we can get our money and take us to the theater, The guy was sitting there really had that very, very weird vibe about his kids.
Heart racing kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know.
So he had a really bad vibe, and I'm assuming he said no.
Yeah, but okay. He said they asked again, but they said we need your permission. We can't do things without your permission. It was like, no, like, duh,
Yeah, I mean, you're not getting in my car without my permission.
Yeah,
but is actually weird.
They had that smile that really can send shivers down your spine.
Okay, so obviously this guy didn't let him in the car.
No.
And
he said, so I can't do it. I got to go. And he left.
Okay. And when was this encounter?
This was 15 years ago.
Okay. 15 years ago. And have there been any reports since then?
In my knowledge, very few, very minimal.
Okay. So it's just minimal encounters. And how far back do these encounters go? Would you say, like, when would you say was the first documented encounter with the black-eyed children?
Around the mid to late 50s. There were only minimal sightings, not very a lot, but just it's equivalent to the sightings of the Men in Black. Equivalent,
And it started around that same time.
Yeah.
You notice a lot of these programs and a lot of these weird sightings, such as UFOs, Men in Black, black-eyed children. It all started around the same time, shortly after World War II. I'm not making any definitive proposals here, but I would say, there is an interesting correlation there that these things all started happening after World War II wrapped up.
Okay, I've got a couple of comments here. One is, we're not free. Hello. During discussion, I think that black-eyed children maybe started being evident after the jab. Seems like mothers that took the had more babies with black eyes. Some Aaron Rowe, pretty sure black-eyed children were just abuse victims.
Yeah, pretty sure they were abuse victims. Obviously had to be told more than once. I get it. Black eyes.
This has nothing to do with the jab.
Bravo, Aaron. Bravo. That was good. I like that.
I want to come out and say this.
But by the way, this person, Aaron, is actually a good friend of mine. Glad to have you join. Good pun on there, buddy. In fact, he and I talk about him coming on the round table every now and again.
The black-eyed children had nothing to do with the jab. Nothing to do with the jab at all. Not whatsoever.
Yes, very good.
So,
yeah, this started really before vaccines.
Way before vaccines. Way before.
Again, this was almost immediately after World War II, and when we brought in all those Nazi scientists after the war.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing coincidence. You get that, the CIA, Men in Black, black-eyed children, UFO sightings, aliens are now this big thing. prior to World War II, nobody really thought about that. No, none of these things were variables in culture at all. And you don't really see it in recorded history. In the 20s or 30s, and even prior to that, you really don't hear of anything relating to stuff like this until after World War II.
They're in the same category as
We're Not Free said it could be a DARPA thing.
The Buckeye Children are in the same category as the Goat Man, Dog
Urban
Man,
Legends.
or all urban legends, yeah. Jersey Devil, Mothman, all that shit. No.
Okay, here's a question: have there been any documented cases where somebody has given a ride to the Black-Eyed Children? And if so, what happens?
Yeah, man, it's a good question there. I don't know. I've been trying to look into that for years. Found nothing. There's another case of a lady that was in her home, and she ran into two Black-eyed children, and they asked to use her phone. They were lost and they want to use her phone. Which again, if I was this lady, I would be kind of leery on that, because like you're seeing two children, black eyes, that very grotesque, sinister smile, and just that vibe.
So other than the black eyes and the creepy vibe, they look like regular children.
Yeah.
And in this instance with the lady and then wanting to use the phone, did she let them in? If so, what happened?
No.
Okay, so there's no documented cases of these people actually letting these alleged children into their vehicle or into their home. It's just, oh, I saw these weird kids with these black eyes. Is there any documentation of any proof of these claims?
From what I did some research on, is that it's very digress on so many levels that I've been looking into it. Like what would happen? Like I said, like what would happen if they did get a ride, or
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. And are these based in actual instances, or are they like what Aaron Roel said, just urban legend, like Spring-Heeled Jack or Sasquatch?
So far, in my knowledge, there's only been 2 or 3 cases so far that I'm knowledge. I've been
yeah, and
I've asked the question.
And are there any? Is there any proof that these children had black eyes, or if there were encounters, did they actually have black eyes, or was it just because it was dark and they were hard to see, and maybe they were just regular kids?
No, they had black eyes. They had very dark black eyes.
Okay,
the hair was white. Skin was kind of pale.
Okay, so basically albinos with black eyes.
In my knowledge, I have no idea.
Albinos have the unblemished skin, generally blue eyes and blonde hair. No evidence, just attention seekers and fear money. Fear monies? I like fear money. What is fear money? I want to make some fear money.
There's been people for years looking at this, because if this happens, you gotta want to know.
Yeah, fear mongers, not fear monies. But I do want fear money. Give me fear money. I will scare you, and you will give me, and you will pay me.
But there's been question on: is there a connection between the Black-eyed children and the Men in Black?
Okay. Yeah. I do want to get to that. before we dive into that, is there any indication, other than a weird vibe, that these children would have engaged in any harmful activity if they were permitted access? And what were the backgrounds of the people that were making these allegations? Like, what were their backgrounds? Do we know anything about their jobs or anything about their background?
The one guy was in construction.
Construction of what? Was he working on any sort of construction project? Like, say, the construction of the CIA building, construction on a military base?
A regular construction worker.
Okay.
No ties
nothing of significance to these people. They had never seen a UFO or anything like that. It's just kind of random things like, oh shit, these kids are at my front door or at my car door kind of thing.
No, there was
nothing that would have suggested that they were provocated.
The guy wasn't really into any government shit. Just regular guy working his 9-to-5 job. That doesn't believe that shit.
Okay, so just regular people, not conspiracy theorists, not government affiliated, hadn't seen a UFO or anything like that previous. No previous declarations.
No.
Okay, isolated instances with random people. Okay.
Most people that have seen these, like our children, have they don't follow that shit.
Okay, construction of basement with chains on the walls. He was any children. Jesus, Aaron.
Damn. Shit.
Aaron's bad. Let me tell you, the guy's fucking great. Like, we'll be at work, he motherfucker cracks me up.
Damn.
In fact, he's the one that made a certain image. And should I go into what that image was? He's the one that made that. My Jewish butt plug. Sorry, I had to find an excuse to push the Jew button. Okay, question. Where roundabouts were these people living? Like, where were these encounters generally located? Aaron is pointing out that most of these people are middle-aged men. Like, remember to play. Oops, my pencil slipped, and that's what came out. Okay, getting serious. Where in the world were these eyewitness accounts? Like, generally, like Midwest kind of places?
Midwest, outside Midwest. There's one in the Midwest. Other one was like,
no, Aaron, keep going. Okay, so general Midwest, maybe Arizona, New Mexico sometimes.
Around there, yeah.
Okay, so now we know about the Men in Black. Where do we see a connection here in terms of the possibility that these children grow up to be the Men in Black?
I think all the records that have been recorded sightings of UFOs and shit like that, where I led to the Men in Black coming out of nowhere. They do have dark black eyes. In a very mysterious way, how they do things, just like the children.
Okay, so are we suggesting that the children grow up to be the Men in Black, or that the Men in Black and these children may in fact be a byproduct of some sort of government experiment, and then were later used for government psyops like the Men in Black program, and so on.
I'm thinking
CIA
more.
Black
I'm thinking more beyond that. I can't even touch it because, like, again, I came up. I came around this. Couple of people asked a question about is there a connection between the Men in Black and the Black-eyed children?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if there is a connection, what is it? I mean, the Black-eyed children are up there with Jersey Devil and the Moth.
All these other urban legends, which all came about around the same time. So yeah. I'm wondering if the Men in Black and these Black-eyed children, considering they pretty much showed up around the same time, if maybe they're not some part of some government program after we brought those Nazi scientists over, that they were maybe the byproduct of some sort of government experimentation and later use through CIA, later use by varying aspects of the CIA.
Either CIA or military. Either one. I mean, if you look at the Mothman Chronicles, like within the last 3-4 years of that time, that bridge collapsed in 64, 65.
Yeah, I remember reading about the Mothman when I was a kid. But you don't really hear of anything about that. And with aliens, like aliens was a big thing back in the 90s. You had Alien Autopsy that came out, which was allegedly the video footage from Roswell, New Mexico. You had the X-Files. You had movies like Independence Day, Men in Black, as Aaron just pointed out. If Will Smith and Fergie had a baby, it would be a Men in Black-eyed children baby. Dude, I gotta get this guy on as a regular on the round table. He is the ultimate comic relief, man. This guy is fucking awesome. And I will tell you this, though. Like, this gentleman, he is a Democrat, but he is one of those people I can honestly say is very intelligent. He does not fit the stereotype of the stupid Democrat that just goes with the flow. Like, he will ask questions. He will think. He is a very critical thinker. And he points out shit to me like I didn't know. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to get back to you on this. And because I'm going to have to look this up because this is something that I'm going to have to do some research on because I'm unfamiliar. Like he said, he goes, nope, I like guns. I mean, he is definitely not your far left, extreme left liberal, as he would like to put it. As he would say, he is not that. He is not the type of people like you would run into, like, say, Chicago or California. This guy is cool as fuck. He's extremely smart, and not only will he make you laugh, he will make you think. So I would give you props, Aaron. I would give props where it goes, and the whole world can say that, I am friends. I have Democratic friends. There you go. He said it. I am a liberal in the literal sense, liberty first. But getting back to what you were saying, Revan, we don't really see much in terms of the Men in Black anymore, or these Black-eyed children. It's kind of very sparse since UFOs became mainstream in the media. I mean, you did hear a lot about UFO activity and UFO alien hysteria in the early to mid 90s because it was just as popular as dinosaurs. I mean, dinosaurs were in everything. Jurassic Park, Land Before Time, the 1993 Super Mario movie, which I still love. I don't care what anybody says. I fucking love that movie. That movie was great. It is.
But last year around this time, between November 18th and around the 18th of this month last year, you had drone sightings, like a big mass, 12 block radius, 80 sightings.
Yeah, we had the drone strike. We had the drone sightings. And Obama, he was big on drones. He loved to play with drones.
November 18th to about early January of this year.
Yeah.
But
those were the smaller drones.
Yeah. Mass sightings. You had plane crashes, fires. Like, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought, are we being invaded? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's a big mindfucker, man, honestly.
Yeah.
Huge mindfuck.
Huge mindfuck. Well, like my point was, like, you had this UFO and alien hysteria in the 90s, but after that, it just kind of died down. I mean, you had the whole thing. Oh, we're gonna make a run on Roswell, and like next to no one. It
didn't really officially die down till after '97. If you remember, over Phoenix.
Yeah. Throughout the 90s, relatively.
And actually, UFO came to Arizona.
Yeah.
And the material says, the material said, no, those were UFOs. Those were flares.
Yeah, back in the 50s, it was weather balloons
but like
swamp gas and all this other shit. Yeah,
but the thing is,
we know this. We know
people in Phoenix saw what they saw.
Yeah.
If you're a civilian that saw something in the sky and you film it, don't believe what the military tells you. It was flares. Flares go up and they fall down. These were lights in the sky. They didn't fall. They didn't were shut up in the sky. No, these were lights in a triangle position, dude.
Yeah. And now, like, if there's a UFO sighting or some abnormality, it's hard to distinguish as to whether or not it's actual video footage or AI generated. And that's another reason why I'm a strong proponent against AI, because it blurs the line between fantasy and reality to where you don't know what's real. You could have a press release from the president of the United States that he didn't actually release, and you would never know the wiser.
Not to stand.
You can use that to concoct evidence against somebody. And
you could be a civilian.
People would have no way of proving otherwise.
Again, you could be a civilian and film it, right?
And people would say it was AI generated. Yeah.
Look, everybody.
Or Project Bluebeam.
Everybody. Not every individual is a AI savvy person or a texture person. If I film it with my cell phone right now, okay, I'm not tech savvy. Okay. Now I can't edit. I'm not tech savvy. Okay. If I film something and it's legit, it's legit. Okay. I don't care what you think. I cannot edit. I'm not tech savvy. I'm just a guy with a cell phone and computer. Dude.
Yeah. And that's probably the case with most people, especially within our age bracket. I mean, a lot of the younger generation, they're going to be jumping on this AI. I'm not going to lie. I've tinkered with it here and there. And I have friends who tinkered with it here and there. Nothing extravagant like what you're seeing online. I mean, a lot of people are producing some very realistic shit. But again, it's so hard to distinguish what is fiction and what is actually real. I mean, seeing images of a rocket crash into the moon and the moon come crashing down to Earth. I mean, obviously, common sense, that didn't fucking happen. That's just computer generated imagery. But it is still so good and so clean and crisp that if you were seeing it for the first time, you woke up and that's the first thing you saw, you're going to look outside and see if the fucking moon fell out of the sky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that convincing. So it'd be hard to differentiate an actual UFO sighting or an actual second coming of the Messiah because you have convinced society that anything could be AI or Project Bluebeam. You don't know what's real. So if the Antichrist actually showed up and had fire raining from the fucking sky, people could just go, oh, well, that's AI or that's Project Bluebeam or it's special effects or it's practical effects, like this, like a magician in Vegas or this or that. We have become so desensitized as a society. I think if the globalists and the technocrats are trying to move us towards an antichrist technocratic world, they're really undercutting themselves with this AI and Project Bluebeam shit because people are becoming so desensitized to it and just going and just brushing it off and would brush off anything as being AI or computer generated imagery or even Project Bluebeam.
Yeah.
So I think the globalists and the technocrats really kind of shot themselves in the foot if they want to bring about some sort of antichrist system. Because even if the antichrist showed up today, I don't think anybody would really believe that it was actually anything supernatural or anything than cheap magician's tricks.
But I do think that it will get some people to believe it.
Some, but probably very few, because again, people are so desensitized. And I think that's why we don't see much in terms of the Men in Black and whatnot anymore, because people are just so desensitized to it, and the hysteria for it is just greatly diminished to the point that people just don't care anymore.
If you'll remember the radio from '38, the War of the World.
Yeah, that's been made into a movie several times.
That right there, I tell you what, that is, I mean, the first ever actual scare of UFO scare,
Yeah, and that was before World War II. That was back again in the 30s. And people were already on edge anyway because of the crash of 29. The United States and other subsequent economies had not recovered. The world over was hit hard with that economically. And then all of a sudden you have this radio broadcast that was just your average radio show that was played in such a way that it sounded like an actual news broadcast. It was like, we interrupt your regularly scheduled broadcast to bring you this important message. It's like, God. For some reason, that freaking movie Corpse Bride just popped into my head. In other news, the dead walk the earth!
Oh, dude, I'm old school, man. I've always followed the old school ways, man. Like,
Zero just popped on. Zero, if you have the link, go ahead and feel free to join the conversation. We'll add you to the stage. We're talking about the Men in Black and stuff like that. Revan, posed the question: are the men in black actually the children with the black eyes? So I believe Revan sent you the link to join. Feel free to join, Zero. I would kind of very much love to get your thoughts on this as a special guest. So if you want to join, feel free. But carrying forward, Revan, when was the last time there was a reported sighting of the Men in Black? You said about 15 years ago was the children with the black eyes was the last sighting, was about 15 yeyears ago.
Yeah.
What about the Men in Black? When was the last time there was a reported sighting of a Man in Black?
Almost 25 years ago.
Almost 25 years ago. Okay, and Zero is here. Zero, welcome.
What's up, Tin Man? How y'all doing, man?
We're doing pretty good. What are your thoughts on the black-eyed children possibly being the Men in Black?
Honestly, I have done zero research on the black-eyed children because I didn't know that this was going to go down. This kind of popped up right on my desk. I don't know what they are.
Your invite was kind of a last-minute thing. That was on me, but I figured...
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
I figured you would have some interesting thoughts, so I figured I'd invite you on to pop in and give your thoughts as a guest.
I don't know, man. You know me. They've always done classified things we're not supposed to know. And then they have people to come around and discredit them while also releasing different kind of information. And you never know what's really going on in the sector whenever you're talking about extraplanetaries or extraterrestrials. You never know what's actually fact.
Yeah, and I pointed out earlier before you had tuned in that a lot of these things, all these conspiracy theories, UFOs, aliens, black-eyed children, Men in Black, Sasquatch, Loch Ness Monster, most of that started coming about after World War II. Granted, the Loch Ness Monster, that was actually taken during World War II. That photo was actually taken during World War II when the submarines, when you had all the submarines and whatnot involved in the loch.
Well, the way that I kind of look at it is if something has the ability to travel X amount of light years, because we're definitely more than a few light years from our nearest habitable zone, something that can actually have life. And that means that whenever we see it, we're seeing in the past, obviously because of redshift. So the point behind all of that is they have the technology to come here. We're kind of insignificant to them. It's literally zoo hypothesis if extraplanetaries exist. So them actually directly interacting with us in a way that we think is kind of plausible will kind of be meaningless to them in a sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we're just kind of if you look out your window, you'll see humans.
good information here. Black-eyed children are legendary paranormal creatures originating in modern American folklore, which officially resembles human children or teenagers with pale skin and pitch black eyes. They're reportedly seen begging or hitchhiking, or we encountered on doorsteps or into homes. Their beings are alleged to be either undead, ghostly, demonic, or alien, or otherwise inhuman creatures attempting to impersonate ordinary human children in order to manipulate people by requesting entry into houses or running vehicles with supposedly sinister motives.
Okay, but again, we have no definitive answer as to whether or not their motives would have actually been sinister, because nobody's actually gone, okay, let me invite the black-eyed child into my house or into my car.
I sent a link to the messenger.
Okay, what am I looking at?
And that's another thing. Look how different we are to technically, scientifically, our closest DNA relatives. And that's like between 1 and 2.5% difference in our DNA. And now we're trying to have communication with something that's obviously going to be more than 5% different in our DNA. So and they have to have had the technology to travel the distances that they did to appear here.
Okay. Well, my thing is, where did they originate from? Again, I'm speculating, considering most of this stuff came about after World War II. It may be things like the Black-Eyed Children and the Men in Black were not byproducts of experimentation from when the Nazi scientists were brought over to the United States.
Well, we know that some of us that have actually gone through classified and declassified documents that they did a lot of crossbreeding, hybridization back in the day. One prime example is the Humanzee.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking up. You can also, on Urban Dictionary, on Wikipedia, you can see urban legends, Men in Black, vampires, vanishing hitchhikers, horror films about child villains. I mean, and you look at that image from here on Wikipedia, that kind of looks like something out of the Children of the Corn or Village of the Damned. I mean, Village of the Damned had albino children, but this looks like a mix of like Village of the Damned meets Children of the Corn. I don't know what
I tell you what, if they did a cross movie of that, I tell you what.
That would be wild.
Fuck yeah, dude.
That would be a wild time.
I mean, that would be a huge, extreme mindfuck, dude.
Yeah, very much so. So what do you guys think? Do you think maybe these guys are a byproduct of Nazi experimentation from post World War II?
If we had to actually stand on some kind of line, I wouldn't say Nazi. I would just say a byproduct of scientific research that we don't do anymore because it's part of geneticists. What's the actual word I'm looking for?
Eugenics.
Splicing.
The eugenics accord.
Yeah. There we go. There's words. Thank you.
Gene splicing.
Cloning.
Pretty much. But yeah, I don't know how this one falls in because I thought cloning was banned and it turns out cloning was never banned.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more or less an unspoken agreement with the world that, hey, we won't engage in human cloning or human genome modification and stuff like that. But yet it still went on. But from what I understood back in the late 90s, when they cloned the sheep Molly, that it was agreed, okay, this is where we're going to draw the line. We're not going to take this to human trials. And I don't know if it was actual UN legislation or a global accord that was signed or just an unspoken agreement, but the world pretty much said, we're not fucking with cloning humans.
They did a cat, but they made it more smaller and shit.
I'm still waiting for somebody to pull a South Park and try to make a potbelly elephant. Little potbelly-sized elephants that you can keep in your house as pets. You never heard of the potbelly elephant?
No.
In the first season of South Park, the kids got into a cloning war and they wanted to make a potbelly elephant. They wanted a small elephant that was like the size of a potbelly pig that you can keep in a house as pets. Because for some reason, Kyle got a fucking elephant in the mail. And they thought, oh, well, that's that'd be a cool idea. Have a little tiny elephant that you could keep in the house as pets. But apparently, pig and elephant DNA wouldn't splice, so they got the elephant and Cartman's pig to make sweet, sweet love, and the byproduct came out looking like Mr. Garrison. Yeah, it was a funny episode.
I will never watch that show ever again.
Oh, I love that show. And I know a lot of people, like including MAGA, are like pissed off because they're poking fun at Trump and his administration. It's satire. It's like the ultimate form of a celebrity roast. If South Park picked on you, you're relevant. You made the big time when South Park's creators roast you. So I would say
if Family Guy can do it,
magical.
hey, if Family Guy can do it too, hey, more power to him, man.
Yeah.
Like Simpsons, South Park, Family Guy.
Yeah.
Look at that. If these shows make fun of you, hey, take a bow, man.
Yeah. You made the big time if you're being picked on by one of these shows. So I don't know why so many people get butthurt about it. I don't care. I personally think it's funny.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting to see what Trump and Satan's butt baby looks like.
I mean, to me, honestly,
maybe he'll come out with black eyes.
Yeah.
Hey, I had to segue it back somehow. So, what other thoughts?
There's been a lot of cryptids, or sightings, but like Bigfoot back in the 60s and shit. I mean, it's those questions on what did it look like? Did it smell bad? I mean, what was it? Like the Buckeye children, I mean, honestly, to me, I think it's nothing more than cryptids.
Yeah. Zero muted himself. I don't know what's up there.
Do I believe they're real? I don't know. Never met one. If I did, hey,
I'm gonna show up to your house tonight.
Many questions, man. Dude, I've done research on Cicada 3301. I've done research on the Mothman, the Jersey Devil, all stuff, because I have questions. Like everybody else, I have questions. I want to know.
There's a lot of unanswered questions in the world, and frankly speaking, probably the more questions we get answered, the more questions we'll have.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really refute that point. Zero, do you have any more thoughts? I think Zero kind of disappeared on us. But, I mean, I really don't know what to make of it because they really haven't been that relevant in pop culture other than things like vampires and movies like Children of the Corn and Village of the Damned.
Yeah.
I mean, your most prominent things have been the Men in Black, Aliens. I mean, you don't even see stuff like Bigfoot anymore unless they're poking fun of it in satire, like on fucking Futurama or
video games.
Mr. Pickles. Like
there was a rib in the game GTA 5 in certainly where all the characters find Bigfoot, but the white guy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember an episode of Mr. Pickles a few years ago. They poked fun at Bigfoot, saying that he was a former mobster that had information on the mob, and they turned him into Bigfoot as part of a witness protection program. So I mean,
but one thing,
but that's like the only time you really hear of anything of relevance. I mean, Slender Man, for Christ's sakes, is probably a more relevant supernatural entity than any of these.
So, Slender Man is a creepypasta.
Yeah, but even so, just a few years ago, he was a very popular character. Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, both very popular horror movie icons who are probably widely more recognized than, say, the Black-Eyed Children. Like, not too many people really know about the Black-Eyed Children. I mean, you hear about some of these urban legends. Some are more out there and widely known than others.
Oh, yeah.
And the Black-Eyed Children in particular is one of those that just kind of falls in between the cracks. So I really wouldn't know what to make of it, especially considering there hasn't been a sighting in recent years. And at which point it would have been nice, before the advent of fucking AI, if somebody was actually able to document an encounter with a black-eyed child. Prior to the advent of AI.
I think
if it comes out, you wouldn't even know if it was real.
Is it hear about it? Now we all know the whole world. Okay, we all know the whole world. We're carrying these every day. These are our lifelines, man. It became a lifeline,
Yeah.
And it has a camera. Okay. Now the thing is, I'll say this: fuck AI. AI is shit, man.
Yeah.
Look, if you come across something really weird, film it. Because the thing
there are
is,
filters and whatnot that can be used to determine whether or not it was actual or AI generated.
Now, this is anybody who's now again. This is to anybody who's not tech savvy, okay? Okay, I'm not. If I see something, I'm going to film it. Okay. Now, zero. I told this to Zero a few years about a few years back. I was taking a can behind the gate. And I turn around, I'm seeing four drones, thinking, "Oh, what this shit?"
Yeah.
And it's 3 drones in same color lighting in a triangle position, in sync. Fuck, didn't have my phone on me, If I had it, and more of these things came out. I would see 10, 12 within the last 3 months of that year, And I'm thinking, like, what is this shit, Are we? Is this DARPA? Is this government? Is this some kind of thing? I don't know. I can't say.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Experimental aircraft, maybe. I mean, if the government would just be real with us, which we know they're never going to be, and why. But if they were actually real with us, it would be very nice to actually know what's real in our world. But they're never going to fucking tell us because they want
their reason. Their reason is now. Every time you say it's due to national security, which we all know is survey says bullshit. We don't want a mass hysteria.
Bullshit.
Yeah, Tin Man, to go off of what you just said, that's kind of how I've started looking at why I came out from underneath my rock, man, because something extravagant happened in my life and it wasn't supposed to be that way, and it goes deeper than logos and movie lines. And the point behind that is that, yes, I completely agree with you. I actually think this is some kind of social experiment of something that they're not telling us, and they know exactly what is going on. And we can sit back and theorize all day long, but that's the best that I can put down, because they're literally doing something to what we're perceiving. They're doing something to our perception. I'm not going to say what everybody else says. It's something to do with the way that we're conditioned to think. And now it's
a mass social experiment.
Exactly. That's what I'm putting down on the table. They're trying to figure out more ways to divide us, is literally how I've started to look at this. More ways to make the prisoners fight each other instead of look at the guards, like I think you say a lot.
Yeah, because the old ways of divide and conquer aren't really cutting it as good as it used to. And so they need to come up with something new. I mean, these people are never going to give up. They're on the losing side. They've already lost to a great extent. And pretty much, especially if you would go with somebody like Alex Jones, and what they've been saying is that we've already won the war. It's just we're waiting for the bullets to stop flying, but they're never going to stop shooting.
But we can also agree
they've already lost. They're already lost. They're already on their way to hell. The question is, how much damage are they going to do before it's done?
But you can also agree that there's a lot of people that are sitting back with their arms crossed saying, as long as I don't say anything, I know what's going on. It doesn't matter what we say. There's people like that. There's more people like that than there are people like us. And that's, I don't know. I don't know how to think about that, man.
And to those people, I would say there were plenty of Jews that thought the same thing until the Nazis came to take them away. And they were loaded on those trucks and cattle cars. Now, regardless of whether you believe in the events of World War II and the Holocaust, or are a Holocaust denier or what, there's no denying that bad shit happens. And it's happened throughout history. And all throughout history, there have always been deniers and people who just want to bury their head in the sand like a fucking ostrich and go, maybe if I just keep my head low, the storm will pass me by. And the lion's just sitting there looking at the ostrich going, you know I can still see you, and I'm going to eat you. But yet people still get into that mentality even to this day. And it's not going to save them. And it's not going to spare anybody from what's going to happen. I would say what was said in Braveheart would probably be the most adequate representation of how a human being's mentality should be. Yeah, if you fight, you might die. If you flee, you'll live, at least for a little while. I mean, truer words have never been spoken.
Yeah. And it's crazy, the things that us who have done research with classified and unclassified documents realize that there are things out there such as Project Looking Glass, just to throw it right on the table and shatter the mirror right in front of everybody, showing people that, hey, they've done this before. They will do it again. And they're still constantly doing the same thing, but on a grander scale. And the more people can perpetuate a lie, the more the truth is going to stand still, because that's kind of what we've noticed.
Absolutely. Thank you for that point. And to that end, I would have to say that if we're going to do anything, it's everything. Don't just believe what you see. Don't just believe what you're told. Do your research. Because so many people, whether they be MAGA or Democrat, just follow the narrative. Like our buddy Aaron. He and I have had many discussions about things like ICE. And he was saying, oh, well, there's these instances in these videos of Americans being arrested by ICE, and people are screaming, "Why are you arresting me?" And you see the video, it's, "Why are you arresting me? I'm a citizen, blah, blah, blah." Come to find out that these people were attacking ICE, and you only got to see part of the video. And then it was just kind of an awkward silence at that point, and me and Aaron just kind of looked at each other and were like, "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna keep talking about." So again, question everything, research everything. Don't believe everything you see. Don't believe every conspiracy theory you hear and see. Do your research. Become informed, and that's all that I or anybody can really suggest. That's why we do these podcasts, and we want to include you in the conversation, because we want to encourage critical thinking and questioning the official narrative. So on that note, Revan, thank you. Zero, thank you for popping on, making a guest appearance. Always good to catch up with you, brother, and get your thoughts.
Thank you very much, sir.
Time. You are very welcome. And thank you to everybody who participated in the conversation in the comments section. Again, if you have enjoyed this video, be sure to share the live feed, hit the like and subscribe buttons and the notification bells on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube, X, and Rumble at RealTWWRN. And also, again, check out our online store for great merch and Christmas deals. So until next time, this is Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. This has been the Roundtable. If you're watching this, you are the resistance.